So their accolades are right next to each other. But when you look at this, Kobe had more points a game. Like, when you look at per game, Duncan had more rebounds. Kobe had slightly more assists. Kobe had more steals. Duncan had more blocks. It's close. It's a lot closer than people want to believe. So I think Tim Duncan is a phenomenal, very underrated, all-time great. A legendary coach called Robert Horry, saying he should be in the Hall of Fame. Big shot, Bob. And I don't have a problem with this. I mean, I've always used, when arguing, when people just say, because I hate when people, like I said, I've grown more. I wasn't flexible about the GOAT debate in my first couple of years watching basketball, because I was heavily biased towards LeBron, but I've grown a lot more flexible, and I don't mind people saying Jordan is the GOAT. What bothers me when people say either LeBron isn't close, which he is, because when you look at the stats, LeBron is way better than Jordan when you look at the stats. Accolades, there's a little more work to be done. So I understand why you would say Jordan is the GOAT, but it's not like a long shot. He's not like way better. And it bothers me when people don't give more insight other than, oh, Jordan has 6 rings. 6 to 4. Shut up. Alright? Because, and I've always used, Robert Horry has 7 rings. And a lot of times people take this as a shot at Horry, which it really isn't. I'm just saying, it's honestly a compliment towards Jordan, because I'm like, would you really take, if you were drafting a team, would you really take Robert Horry over Michael Jordan? No, you wouldn't. But wait. Horry won 7 rings. I mean, I wouldn't take Bill Russell over Jordan as a player. But Bill Russell has 11 rings. It's really, it's a double standard, really. But I wouldn't have a problem with him going to the Hall of Fame. He won 7 rings. He did contribute. He wasn't just a guy sitting on the bench, like warming the bench up. He contributed. My only issue would be, that means you got to put Derek Fisher in the Hall of Fame and Julian Edelman, because these are the guys that were there. They were there in the big moments, and that's what I like. And like I said, Edelman will get my Hall of Fame vote, but he's not going to be in there because Hines Ward isn't in there, and Hines Ward is better than Julian Edelman. But, this is the NBA Hall of Fame, not NFL. And if Horry goes in there, you gotta put Derek Fisher in there. That would be my only issue, only complaint with Horry getting in there. Speaking of Robert Horry, would I rather have his career? I'm going to play this game here. Robert Horry or blank. So, Robert Horry or Chris Webber? These are some good questions, by the way. It's tough. Like, when you look at it player-to-player comparison, without the accolades of 7 rings, it's not even close. I mean, Horry versus Webber, like, when you take away the 7 rings, it's easily Webber. But I think I know Horry. Have a kind of a contribution and, some clutch shots when it matters, and win 7 rings with it. And, not only do I win 7 rings, but I can say I contributed. And, if Webber won an MVP, it probably would be different. But he didn't. So, I'd go with Horry on this one. Now, this is going to sound dumb, but when you really think about their careers, it's going to sound close. Robert Horry, who contributed and got a couple clutch baskets in his career and won 7 rings, or Karl Malone, who had a phenomenal career without any rings. To me, if I'm Karl Malone, I don't win any rings, but I'm the oldest MVP ever, second most points ever, and just it's a great career regardless. And I win. He won 2 MVPs, right? Here, I'm gonna look that up, but I'd go Karl Malone. Just because, you get the MVPs, and you're the oldest MVP ever. Yeah, he won 2. And you're highly regarded as as the best player, not one of, the best player to never win a ring. He'd probably be 12th on my all-time list, or 13. I'd say right outside the top 10 I said 11 is Olajuwon. I think he had maybe the best playoff run I've ever seen Olajuwon. And I'd say 12 is a toss-up between Curry and Malone. Either way, Malone is the best one there. So, if you're Malone, second fewest points ever, 2 MVPs, you're the oldest MVP ever, and you make it to 2 finals at least, And you're the best player to never win a ring, in many people's mind. So I'd go Malone there. So Iverson or Horry. I would have to go. Alright, so okay, so this is tough. So Iverson he did win an MVP, and he changed the game. Alright, so this is tough. Do I want to win 7 rings and contribute a bit and make some clutch shots? Or do I want to be Iverson, who changed the game? Who changed the game and won MVPs? That's tough.
Oh, shoot. We gotta do the Bills, babe.
You know what? I'm gonna have to go. Oh gosh, this is. Okay. Alright, give me Robert Horry. Oh gosh, that's tough. I don't know. I'd rather. I don't know. CP3 or Robert. Give me Robert Horry. I mean, CP3's been great, but he didn't win a ring or an MVP. Horry won 7 rings and a lot of clutch shots. CP3 is not really historically clutch either, so give me Horry there. And finally, Nash or Robert Horry. Give me Steve Nash. He didn't win a ring, but he won MVPs, and he, again, regarded as one of the best players to never win a ring. So, and a member of the 50-40-90 club. So, I'll take that. Speaking of the 50-49 club, Kyrie Irving became the 9th player ever to do that. And it's a great accomplishment for him, but should I include this stat? It kind of ruins everything, though. It kind of makes me come off pessimistic. Alright, you know what, they should know this stat anyway, you guys. He only played 54 games, which is the least amount of games played by any of the people in the 50-40-90 club. But it's still a great accomplishment, and it's not an easy thing to do. You gotta shoot 50. Gotta make 1 of every 2 shots. And one of every 2 shots from the field, and it's a lot tougher than it looks. So 50, 40, 90, no matter the games, it's an amazing accomplishment. So congrats to Kyrie. And yes, you can hear that. It is my pride swallowing and digesting right now. Alright, so speaking of the Hall, well, actually, to move on to a completely different topic, Bill Russell will be inducted in the Hall of Fame next year as a head coach. So thinking that he won, he was a player coach. So he won 11 rings in total, and 2 of those were as a player coach. I find that crazy. I really do. Bill Russell, probably the most decorated player of all time. You know, just... So, this weekend was a great weekend, really. But this week could either be a disaster or phenomenal. I think what people want is a great game between the Warriors and the Lakers, with the Lakers eventually winning. Because I think people want to see... the Lakers in the playoffs. They want to see the narrative, like, a 7 seed wins the finals. Because they know if the Warriors win, they're not going anywhere. The Lakers can actually go somewhere. I mean, the Warriors are going to get bounced the first or second round. And if the Warriors win it, it might be a disaster. But Lakers win, it could be great. Problem is, Lakers would have to win in a close one. It can't be a blowout. For fans, at least, for the NBA. I think Adam Silver will get trashed if the Warriors get him. So here's another debate. I love Hall of Fame debates, really. I mean, I hate them but love them as well, because, I mean, it's really complicated sometimes. But, Ben Wallace is a Hall of Fame finalist, and you know, he's decorated. For sure decorated. He won a ring. He beat Shaq and Kobe, which is not easy to do. He won 2 Defensive Player of the Years, too. But here's a question. Is Rudy Gobert a Hall of Famer? If he ain't a Hall of Famer, then neither is Ben Wallace. Because, like, let's say... Because Gobert has 2 Defensive Player of the Years already, right? He might have 3. I don't know. Let's say he wins a ring this year, probably. Like, let's say he wins a ring this year. And, you know, are you going to put him in the Hall of Fame? I don't know. It's, Gosh, I'm tired right now. It's a great question. I don't know. I think he deserved it, though. I mean, yeah, I give him a slight nod. Not first ballot, but definitely a Hall of Fame nod there. So, but the Hall of Fame inductees this year sure as hell deserved it. I mean, Kobe Bryant, what a player. He tore his Achilles and we didn't even know it because he just fought through it. And Tim Duncan, he had such a good peak. And so did Kevin Garnett. I mean, if I were told you have these 3 players to pick from, who would you want to run your team with? I'd say Tim Duncan, because I think Kobe, I like him a lot. I think he's a great player. But I think